Let the Lord save me. Every day I pray. Let the streets don't take me. Every day I pray. I'm just trying to make it. Every day I pray. Every day I pray. Every day I pray. Let the Lord save me. Every day I pray. Let the streets don't take me. Every day I pray. I'm just trying to make it. Every day I pray. Every day I pray.
A Divine Diva has a branded identity. Sit back, relax, and discover yours. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Arts and Science of Divology. The art is because God has created us each uniquely. The science is because of the creativity that He has given each and every one of us to manage our daily lives. The phone number is 325-261-3482. Again, that's 325-261-DIVA. As a diva, we acknowledge that we beat to the rhythm of a branded drum because we don't belong to ourselves. The D is because we were designed for such a time as this. The I is for our integrity and intelligence, but only as a minor strength. Our main strength is that we follow the wisdom of God. The V is for our vivaciousness. It flows through our veins like a subtle current in a torrent river. The A is because we are aimed to attain our Christ-branded identity. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Divas! I'm glad you stopped by to hang out with me for a little bit today. I pray that wherever you are and whatever your circumstance is, know that you are blessed and highly favored. I don't care what it looks like, how you feeling. No, God got your back. I know some of us have been waiting a long, long time for that promise to come to pass, for that dream to manifest, for that husband to find us, that promotion on that job, just things that we've been waiting for that child to start acting like they do got some sense and that they wasn't raised by wolves. Some of us have been waiting for a peaceful night's sleep, for the telephone not to ring at 3 o'clock in the morning because a loved one is in trouble. Some of us are waiting for our lives not to look like a hot mess. Some of us have been waiting and waiting and waiting for so long that sometime our mind comes and tells us it's never gonna happen. That promise, that purpose to be birthed. Last week we talked about labor and delivery, but I don't think that I did you justice because I didn't tell you about the long time and what I was doing while I was waiting. See, now I understand that there was a reason and there was a purpose why the journey was so long. Just to get started, it was some things in me that God had to clean up on the journey, and Lord knows I have not arrived. Just for the first part of it, I've had friends and sisters in the walk who say, "Oh girl, you carrying this baby a long time." So they're surprised when I tell them that I was dealing with fear. False evidence appearing real. But it was my reality. It's hard for people to believe that I was terrified of a microphone. An innate object terrified me to no end. I'm going to tell you right now, divas, I could have been the poster child for anxiety and fear. But because of the way I was raised, I learned how to hide it. For years, I have let people and an inanimate object make me shiver on the inside. Then on top of that, there was a fear of talking to large groups of people. What if my tongue got tied? What if I slipped up and cussed? All those things, all those components. Then it was my family. I had kids in school, and my kids are special. I told y'all that before. My kids are special. From one day to the next, I never knew what was going to happen. So I'm saying this is not a time for me to step out and how would I reflect God's ministry in my house is all tore up like this? We ain't ready. We ain't ready. During that stage of life, I got discouraged and I said, oh, my family ain't gonna never be ready. The reality of that was that I was more terrified about what people would say and their opinions, because in reality, we all got some kind of dysfunction. So my pride, part of that was pride. I was letting my pride prevent me, or my shame stop me. So on one side, I have all these excuses that I've made. Then it was all these scriptures. And they just kept calling me and calling me. Wait on the Lord and keep his way. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but in the end it will speak. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Wait on the Lord and be of good courage. I heard all the scriptures. And while I was listening and reading and studying the scriptures, I ain't gonna lie, I was getting frustrated. I started to think that these scriptures was wrote for somebody else. This wasn't applying for my life. I even had that season where I gave up on the word. I said, oh, this ain't real. It works in other areas, but not in this one. Or my thought was, oh, it works for some people, but not in my life. So I did what most of us do. When we get to that place where we've determined in our mind that we're not worthy and it's not going to work, we run right back out into the wilderness. Right back out into that dry area. Now I'm out there getting my groove on. Hey. The only difference from then and before is that I was much older. And what was funny about that was because when I was younger in the clubs, I always would look at the older women in the clubs and think how sad it was that they hadn't got a life yet. How sad it was that they were still trying to get their groove on and they needed to be home being mama and grandma. And I had became that same woman that I used to shake my head about. Then one night, as I was walking out the door, headed to the club, after about 3 months of kicking it, God reached out his hand, snatched me right back up out of those streets, and put me back on course. Now in my mind, I had a setback. So I'm back to discouragement again. I put everything that I had been waiting for on the shelf. I finally got to the place that I was going to be happy and secure in helping another person fulfill their vision. And I served, and I served, and I served some more. And the more I served, the more I was filled. The more I was filled, the more word I started to intake. The more word I started to intake, the more I was filled. The more I was filled, the more I forgave. The more I forgave, the more humble I became. The more humble I became, the more that quick temper, that anger, and that rage left. Now listen, that ain't your invitation to try me. I said the quick temper left. I didn't say that. I still didn't get hot. I will still tell you I am not to be trifled with. So don't none of y'all try me this week, okay, please? It might not turn out the way we want to expect it, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you, divas. Anyway, back to what we was talking about. My passion began to grow and grow and grow. The more my passion grew, the more the fear subsided. The more the fear subsided, it made room for boldness to come in. The more God's boldness came in, the more fear ran. And in between all that, all those excuses and all that shame and all that pride went away too. And then the more and more it grew, then we had that one last test. Well, I can't do it now because I ain't got no money. Why come you didn't have me do this when I had all that money rolling? I'm broke now. So during this point now, first thing I got to do is get my mind fixed, which fixes my mouth. Because I had to remember, when it's God's deal, it's God's bill. My purpose is to walk in faith and believe, right? So this is what you got to do. Quit looking at the money. Okay, so some of y'all remember me from back then. That most of you who do remember me from back when, y'all would have said that I had all that stuff that I say I have now, I had then. But it was a difference. What I had then was a world's concept. I had to get stripped of all that. And it had to be redesigned. I had to get on the potter's wheel. So even though way back at 12, I knew what I wanted to do, God showed me. By 12, I already had a quick temper. I would throw a punch at you. When I got older, I'd pull a gun on you. All that had to be stripped away for His love to shine so bright in me. And yes, I'm still a work in process, because y'all know I will give y'all that eye. That's your warning signal. The eyebrow, that's your warning signal. I'm still on the potter's wheel. But I wanted you to know, I needed you to know, while you wait, it's some cleaning that's got to be done. My mindset, oh my gosh, was the biggest thing. I had to start to see myself as more than enough. I had to see myself as being worthy. I had to get away from all that negative speaking and cussing folks out, talking bad about people's mamas and stuff. You know how we did it back in the day. Had some generational curses that had to be broken. I had to learn how to love properly. And as you grow, you even learn how you need to be loved. My husband has become very adamant. The more and more God is doing what He's doing in our lives, he is becoming so adamant. And he almost sounds like one of them movies. And he'll tell me quickly, everybody can't touch you. And what he's telling me is like, you're not going to deal with everybody just because they want to be in the bubble. He's made that vividly clear. He has already told me that when he gets pricked, that he's going to be asking, and what are your intentions for my wife? Because right now it's a lot of people coming at me wanting me to get involved in a lot of things. So while I was waiting, my husband was also on the potter's wheel. Now he speaks up boldly about what he thinks. If I'd have done this a long time ago, he just let me do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it, and it was okay with him, as long as he thought I was happy. He doesn't do that anymore. Now he shows a genuine concern. Well, and I have to trust that God has shown him who I should not get involved with. Because of everything that's even going down right now, and the movement is kind of like a quick beat, a quick tempo going on. He'll say it's time to rest. Shut it down. Let's turn it off. It's time to rest. Now, the first time he said it to me a couple of weeks ago, I gave him the eyebrow. I'm like, I'm 50 years old. How you gonna tell me? But then I thank God for him, because I have been at a quick beat, and I have been exhausted. And I have to stop and take the time to make sure that my tank stays filled with the word. I have come to a place in my life to know that I cannot run around in my reserve tank. I struggle when my reserve tank, my word is empty. My word tank. And in this season, I have a lot of people pulling from me. Pulling. Different people. They wanting to know, really wanting to get in my bubble, really wanting to know, tell us about this God that you serve, this God that you love so much. Tell us about what you're doing. What is this ministry all about? How can I help? What can I do? I want to be involved. Even at work. So I go to work. I've got the word playing before I leave the house as I'm dressing. I'm listening to the word all day in my ear. I got to keep my tank full. But Divas, I just wanted to come today and let you know, don't be discouraged. Don't give up. While you're waiting, there's some cleaning getting done. It might not even be evident to you that you're getting cleaned up. Believe and trust. God got your back. The word says, even though it tarry, it will not tarry. Now, I have taken that on to believe that it was a long time before we got to the point. Let me take that back. It was a long time walking toward the point. But now that it's going, it's going. Divas, I love you. I think I have become your cheerleaders. I'm listening to all your visions and your dreams. And I'm loving it, seeing you walk in your purpose, and for some towards your purpose. Don't give up. The same thing I posted on Facebook last week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and at 6:30 in the morning, my phone started blowing up about this going on, that going on, and I'm just reading these text messages, and I'm like, doing this journey, I'm gonna tell you, you need to pick up that scripture. The kingdom suffered violence, and you've got to get violent and know that it's yours, and you've got to take it by force, spiritually. Don't be going to try to hold up nobody. It's yours. You got to hold on to that. It's yours. Walk it out. While you wait, Divas, trust. God got you. I can't say it enough. Now, you know it. You can find us all day, all night, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud. Yes, we are back up on YouTube. Our webpage, www.divaradio.org. And for those of you who, I wish I could have made it to the conference. Don't worry, you'll get your opportunity. We're coming back again, Live Life on Purpose, next February. We've subtitled it already, No More Excuses. We're already getting our sponsors together. I can't wait for you to meet Team Diva. Awesome set of diverse women. I love them. So, get your calendar marked. We're shooting for February 4th, 2017. I will keep you updated. That is just me speaking it out there. I haven't talked to anybody about a building or nothing. That's what I'm believing for. So get ready to come out and meet this dynamic group of women. They're just beautiful women. We have a lot of fun together. They challenge me. They collectively try to keep me on track. Lord knows he sent all these women to try to keep little old me on track, and it's funny. But I feel them because I know me. Anyway, I'm going to ask you to keep Team Diva in your prayers and the whole Divine Diva structure. We're receiving so many offers and opportunities to go different places with our Live Life on Purpose forum. We've got an opportunity to possibly go into some of our local schools to do some mentoring. When I say God is opening up doors, He is opening up doors. But I am adamant, I don't want to walk in any door that God does not open, because I know that the enemy does set up traps for us. So I'm asking for your prayer on that, to keep us focused on what God has for us, because we don't want nothing else. One last thing, we've got a new book that's getting ready to hit the shelves soon, probably in the next few weeks. I'm giving it 30 days. It is titled The Arts and Science of Divaology, and I have been working on this for years. It is actually a mentor's instruction manual on what you need to be an effective mentor, and at the back of it we do have our Diva Life curriculum. So look for that out there. I think it's going to be on Amazon, but I will post that on Facebook when it hits the shelves and when we're ready to release it. I know I said one last thing, but one more. Next week we will be celebrating, the 14th, we will be celebrating our 1-year anniversary of Divine Diva Podcast. And I am so grateful and thankful, because I know a lot of you have that started out with me and you're still here. I remember a year ago, my pastor, Bishop John L. Benford, told me, Carla, if you will be faithful to do this podcast, God has so much more in store for you. So thank you, Jesus. All of that is going on right now, because I have been faithful even on days where I can get to this microphone and had nothing at all to say, and God would provide a word. So thank you for all of you who have been praying for me and who have stood by the podcast during this time. I hope you continue to hang out with me. Divas, I love you. I hope I have said something today that is encouraging you. So until next time, keep it diva.